Welcome to The Author Show, where we feature new authors and books, from fiction to self-help and everything in between. You'll find it all at theauthorshow.com. That's theauthorshow.com. And now let the show begin.
Hello and welcome back to the show. This is your host, Don McCauley. Today we're welcoming the program author Lisa Hromada, and she is the author of The Three Supreme Gifts, a practical approach to self-mastery and to transforming your life here and now. Lisa, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good. So tell us about your book.
My book, The Three Supreme Gifts, is inspired by spiritual teachings that were revealed in my first book, Love is a Seed, Teachings from the Spirit World. And the story behind these teachings is actually really incredible. When I was just over a year and a half old, my father began to channel messages from various souls and wise ones talking on the subjects of divine love and creation. And my mother would sit by his side every night taking dictation, writing every word that was spoken. And one of the main themes from these teachings is that upon our creation, we are forged with three supreme gifts, or what they call supreme truths, which are love, thought, and free will. So in the book, I share a detailed explanation of these gifts from a divine perspective, and I give quick practices readers can do to transform their life moment by moment so that they can, in fact, create the life of their choosing.
Now, who did you write your book for specifically? Who's your target audience?
Well, I really wrote this book for those like me, for those looking to create more joy, peace, and purpose on a consistent basis, using techniques that don't take a lot of time, but that are highly effective and empowering. In fact, when I began this journey through the teachings from Spirit, I often asked myself how I could implement these teachings in a way that did not require a lot of my time, because between family and work and all the other responsibilities, everything that's going on in the world, the media, there is just not a lot of extra time to spare. And I know that's what it's like for a lot of people. So I knew I needed something that was quick, simple, and attainable, and that's what I provide in the book.
Is there any type of central message or perhaps underlying theme that you would say runs throughout your book?
Oh, absolutely. The central message is that we have all that we need at this very moment to transform the negative circumstances in our life into ones of enlightenment and peace and whatever we wish our life to be. Now, the beauty is that when we do so, we are not alone in our pursuit for something more. What was expressed in the sessions with Spirit is that we are each divinely guided, and we can access this guidance through our soul or our higher self, through the three supreme gifts in a really simple and natural way so that it becomes almost effortless. So it's not taking us much time at all. And I expand on this in the three supreme gifts.
If you had to choose, what would you say is the single most important idea you're sharing in your book that's really going to add value to the reader's life?
I would say that the most important idea, or actually the most empowering message, Don, that I can give to others is the knowledge that all solutions are within us. And this can be really empowering for people. Many of us feel that we have little control over our life and what we experience. We often look for answers or solutions outside of ourselves or from thinking enough on a problem. But that's not where solutions are found. From what's revealed within the original sessions with Spirit is that we come into this life as soul, or what we can refer to as our knower self. We know what we know. And your soul is the holder of all solutions. And because you are, in essence, soul, all solutions are within you.
Now, if you could compare your book with any book out there we might already be familiar with, which book would it be and why?
You could perhaps relate the three supreme gifts to something like The Universe Has Your Back by Gabrielle Bernstein. The reason is because Gabby's book also speaks to this amazing empowerment of divine love, and how when we intentionally practice connecting with it and bring it into our life more fully, this energy of love helps us to make transformations that we seek. Now, in the three supreme gifts, one of the main differences is that I'm always referencing back to these teachings that came through these sessions with Spirit that my parents experienced. In fact, Don, the original reason for the souls coming through was to share messages for the benefit of all of us having this human experience, so that we can live a more fulfilling life here and now and make the most of this life and understand that we can get through our struggles and that we are here for a special set of purposes.
So in your opinion, how can love, thought, and free will transform a life?
Well, each of these gifts is its own system in which they function as a larger system of your life. They each are a system of empowerment. And when these gifts are utilized and understood from a greater divine perspective, what you get is this amazing, harmonious integration of empowerments, which allows you to attain self-mastery and transform your life. Now, you're still going to be met with challenges in this life, but you handle them better. You don't hold on to negative thoughts or energy that prevents you from living a life of joy, peace, purpose, fun, and whatever you wish your life to be. And what we can create is a life that is wholly beneficial, meaning whole and complete. And when we do that, we essentially live the way we are intended to, and we begin to notice a new kind of flow in our life, and it's actually really exciting for people.
What are the 3 stories of life that you speak about?
Well, it's through love, thought, and free will that we live out 3 stories of our life. And understanding these 3 stories can bring a tremendous amount of peace. The 3 stories are, there's the story that we write, the story that's being written through us, and the story that we co-write with God. The story that we write translates to us as personality seeking out purpose and fulfillment. The story that's being written through us is by the grace of God. And this story is not always the same as the story that we're writing, but it is always for our benefit. And then there is the story that we co-write with God. And we are always in the process of co-creation. You can compare this down to writing a poem or a song. At some point, it begins to write itself. This is co-creation at work. So when we co-create our story with God, we become the instrument by which creation happens in our life.
What's the best way to incorporate all of this without getting overwhelmed?
That's a great question. In the book, The 3 Supreme Gifts, the number one way I recommend is through mantras. And I provide a number of specially crafted mantras in the book. The reason why mantras are so powerful are for 2 main reasons. The first is that when you say a mantra and fully understand the meaning behind the words and embody the words, you instantly align yourself with this incredible divine energy that flows all throughout life. And this energy is love, and it is a giver of empowerment. And that is reflected in the books. And 2, mantras can be done at any time. You can be out walking, you could be working at your desk, wherever you are, you can be with your kids, you could be wherever you are, and they instantly break up the mind chatter that often holds us back from feeling good and being able to accomplish the amazing things that we came into this life to accomplish. So it's not holding us back anymore.
You talk about how most people live in a paradigm of habitual problem-centered and ambition-centered living. How does that impact our lives?
Yeah, that's true. When we take a moment to think about our life and when we pay attention to our thoughts, we often find that we are consistently focused on a problem to solve, something that bugs us, something that's not going right, or that next thing that we want to do. The way that this impacts our life when we live in this problem-centered and ambition-centered energy is we make ourselves miserable for one, and we disconnect ourselves from the joy that we want and what's possible for us to experience on a daily basis. But fortunately, there is a way that we can find our way out of these paradigms and into greater clarity, and that is through an energy of solutions, which is a divine energy of clarity that everyone has access to.
Why is the thought aspect of this so important to understand?
Well, thought is where we get the most stuck. And what I know to be true is that it is our thoughts that can determine our day and how we feel and how we view how our life is going. And when we think thoughts that cause negative emotions, it can block the empowerment of love inherent with us, which is that first supreme gift. And it can misguide our free will actions, which is that last supreme gift. And it can take us off course as well as cause suffering in one form or another. In my first book, Love is a Seed, Teachings from the Spirit World, it's expressed that it is thought that has gotten us to this very moment in time. And there's a deeper exploration of thought in both books, but to summarize the importance of thought is to say that the quicker we can harness the power of our thoughts so that they are of service to us, the more we can live the fulfilling life that we desire.
So what's been your most rewarding experience since publishing your book?
Well, let's see, I'd have to say that it's the positive responses I've received from those reading the book and the excitement around what's possible for them. As an example, one person shared with me that since reading the book, whenever a negative thought pops up into her mind, negative meaning thoughts that don't serve us in creating the life that we want, she recalls a section in the book that talks about thought where I show a diagram of stored thoughts that we have and how tricky these thoughts are in finding their way into our awareness out of nowhere and how they can throw us off. So she shared that now she's able to let go of those thoughts more quickly and not hold on to the negativity for as long as she used to. And of course, that's a consistent practice. So the more that we can do these types of practices, the easier and quicker it becomes to move on to possible solutions and feel better.
How would you describe your writing style?
If I were to describe it in one word, Don, I think it would be relatable. My intention when writing is partly to teach and give the most essential information to help readers, and partly to provide real-world examples and experiences so that readers can find their own truth and connect to how the messages relate to what they are currently experiencing. So I really want readers to know that I'm along with them on their journey, because in many ways I am. We each have our own set of experiences, yet we all experience times of challenge, suffering, and heartbreak. And so I strive to share what I've learned in hopes that it can be of benefit to others as well.
What part of your book would you say you personally like best?
I would say it's the mantras and practices that are in there for each of the three supreme gifts, because they're ones that I use on a regular basis and share with others who come across my path. And I'll tell you, I'm the type of person who wants quick results, but doesn't have a lot of time to dedicate to longer practices of connection like meditation. So these mantras serve an incredible purpose when in the midst of feeling negative emotions or experiencing times of challenge, because they are quick and highly effective.
In your opinion, who should buy your book?
I would say those who desire to understand the meaning of their life and their purpose better, those who want answers to why they experience what they experience and how to take more control over how they feel about their life. It's for those who want to have a better understanding of their relationship between their soul and who they are as personality, because when we understand this relationship, it can immediately shift our perspective about everything that we experience in our life and empower us with clarity so that we can make the necessary steps to create the life of our choosing.
Do you have a website?
I do. My website is loveistheseed.com, and on there I provide free resources as well as gifts for those reading the three supreme gifts and Love is the Seed, Teachings from the Spirit World, where I give my readers the opportunity to personally ask me questions about what they're reading and share their own experiences and discoveries. And again, that website is loveistheseed.com, where they can do that.
Could you spell your name for us, please?
Yes, Hromada, Hromada.
Well, this has been just great. Our guest today has been Lisa Hromada, and she is the author of The Three Supreme Gifts, a practical approach to self-mastery and to transforming your life here and now. Lisa, thanks very much for being with us today.
Well, it's been my pleasure. Thank you so much, Don.
This is Don McCauley, wrapping up another edition of The Author Show. The Author Show podcast can be accessed at any time by visiting theauthorshow.com. Selected interviews can also be found on major podcasting platforms like Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, Spotify, and many more. If you're an author who would like to be featured, just visit theauthorshow.com, complete the interview request form, and we may contact you. Marketing is seldom easy for authors, and the Author Show is a great way to promote your work worldwide using a high-quality interview that can make a real impact. Check us daily as we continue to introduce wonderful authors of very interesting books on The Author Show.
Thanks for listening to The Author Show. Find out more about authors and their work at theauthorshow.com. theauthorshow.com. Tune in next time to another great author on The Author Show.